I'm sorry.
We're going to have to start all over. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I
Let's
should
go
have asked
back.
that before.
And
Okay.
it's really pretty much. You'll see when the red light comes on.
We'll go again, Karen.
Okay, and it's basically we're just having a
Oh.
conversation.
Stand by, Karen.
Hello, and welcome to the Village Drum. My name is Karen Dinkins. I'll be your host today. And with me, we have a very special guest. Her name is Coach Hargrove, but we call her Realism. She's going to tell you how you can get your life unstuck if you're feeling in that mode. Now, Coach Hargrove, or Coach Realism.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
Ooh. So let's start all over. Take 3. You know what? Anybody have some water? You have some more water?
I have some right here. I don't know what happened.
Okay. Catch your breath. It's all right. It's all right.
Do you have any tissue in your bag?
I do.
Oh, but we're locked up.
We are locked up. Excuse me. Hey, Felicia?
Yes,
Could you... Oh, Jason?
it's Felicia.
I know. You know what? I have some tissue in my bag.
Where's your bag?
It's right in here, but we can't move.
Hold on.
All right. Oh, Michael's here. Never mind.
What happened?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know. My throat,
Thank
There you
you.
go, anyway.
it started tickling.
Michael, could you hand me my purse, please?
Your purse?
Uh-huh.
Like maybe a dust bug. I don't know. Something.
Oh, wait. Let's see.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It was like,
All right, we want to try again.
yes. That was beautiful, though. Wonderful. Once you got into your mode, oh,
Here we go
goodness.
again.
Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to say until I, open my mouth, which I don't know if that's good or not.
Your
but...
voice, everything, it was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
All right, here we go, Karen.
And it's Hargrave.
Here we go, Karen.
Hello, and welcome to the Village Drum. My name is Karen Dinkins, and I'll be hosting today. I'm very happy to present to you Coach Realism Hargrave. She's a life coach, she's an author, and also a mother, and we're very happy to have you on set today.
Thank you so much, Karen. I'm really happy to be here.
Yes.
And
now-
you're amazing. You look fabulous in your dress.
Well, thank you very much, and so do you.
Thank you. We're mirroring each other.
Yes. So there might be people listening today that feel like they want to go to another level in their life, and they might not know what that level is, but they might have a wanting of something more. Being a life coach, How would you help a person that's in a situation like that?
The first thing I would do is I would assess where they actually are. Most of the time, people are aware of what they don't want and what they don't like in their life, but they're completely blindsided by what they do want. However, a little trick is pretty much what you don't want, the flip side is what you truly want. So if you're tired of running into people with a nasty attitude, you're looking to be around people who have more pleasantries in their life. So that's the first step, really becoming honest with where you are currently and what that level up looks like for you. And just take it one step at a time. You know, they have an old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. When it comes to our lives, it's like an elephant.
Okay.
My money's not right. I don't feel right. I'm 20 pounds over. I lost my job. It's several things most of the time before people start actually looking for help or, you know, reaching out in any way.
So now, what if you have somebody that says, okay, well, I'm working at this job. I've been at this job for 5 years. I'm not happy. I want to change my job. I'm carrying this 20 extra pounds and I know that I need to change, but they're really not motivated to do that. How would you talk to that person, or what would you suggest?
The first thing I would suggest is being very honest about any of those pain points that you just pushed. When you say, I'm 20 pounds overweight, okay, so how does that feel? How are your bones feeling? How is your health? Are you breathing up the stairs? Are you embarrassed? Are you sweating all the time? Let's start getting real and let's lay those things out on the table. Let's write them down. And let's decide that we don't want this for ourselves anymore. That's the first step, a decision. But what stops people from making that decision, Karen, is that they believe they have to have all the other steps and instructions. Nah, we live in such a mighty and powerful and amazing universe. You don't have to have the answers. You just got to make the decision, because the universe is like GPS. Once you make the decision, okay, I'm going to see Karen. What's Karen's address? I'm making the decision. I'm putting it into GPS, and GPS going to tell me, make a left, make a right, but we start with that decision.
I really like that.
I'm glad.
Yeah, you
It
start
works.
with a decision.
Yes.
And it doesn't have to be so big. Just make that decision, make the first step.
Exactly.
And then you
Yes,
play
the
upon
universe
that.
will come to you next. You made the decision you're going to lose this weight. So then the universe, you sleep, you whatever, or you sitting on the couch, you're doing what you normally do, eating your Netflix and chilling, your Chipotle, your fried chicken, whatever. It be me too. Me too. I have my times. But the universe will give you a little nudge like, your stomach is hurting. You don't feel good. This is the behavior that's contributing to this 20 pounds. It'll start intercepting what used to be comfortable will begin to get uncomfortable. And other ideas will start to come to your mind. As simple as that.
Now, what if somebody says, well, you know, that's just it. I have this job. I'm happy to have this job. Oh, this is the way I'm always going to be. What is the motivation? How do you motivate people? I mean, to realize that you don't have to be this way. There is another way.
I'm so glad that you said that. I'm a disruptor. So what that means, I've always been one. Before, I didn't necessarily like being called one because I didn't understand who I was. But that's what I am. I'm here to disrupt your regularly scheduled programming. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to get in your face. I'm a surgeon. I'm not the general. You don't come to me because you have the cold. You come to me when you know you sick. You know you need to get this thing out your body, and you're willing to do whatever you need to do to get it out. Very much in the style of Ayanna Van Zandt. Like, the truth is the power. It's the sword. So when people come to me, like a story just happened to me like that. Someone working for the Irvington Board of Education, been there for years, and said, I'm completely unhappy in this job anymore. I'm changing. I'm snappy at home. I'm not feeling well. I'm not doing well. Okay. So what are we going to do about it? Are we ready to do something about it? Have we been disrespected enough? Have we been unappreciated enough that we're ready to make a commitment to ourselves to change it up? Now, I'm not going to give anybody no advice to quit your job tomorrow, but quitting your job is definitely transitioning out. Is definitely part of the strategy to take you to another place. But a decision has to be made. Now, you don't have to know what job you're going to have yet. You have to decide, you know what, my days are ending with this. I'm going to take active action to find something else that's more befitting for me and where I am right now.
Okay.
You're worthy. That's the part.
That's it.
That's the part.
And a lot of times people don't feel like that.
Yes.
That they are not worthy. And people can do better. They don't have to settle. And a lot of times people just settle
Yes.
for things. And you're offering a better way.
Exactly. No settling. The three things I do essentially, and the core of it is I help people master their mindset first. So you did ask me, I would say I jump a little forward, and I'm not just going to get in your face and start ripping you to shreds. We don't do that, because it's all about building up without harm. The first thing is making an assessment of who we are and the good things about us, so we could just be reminded. So that reminding, it puts us in a stronger place, Karen, than motivation. It puts us in a place of empowerment. When we remind ourselves, oh, I went through school, I did this, I worked here from these years, I have for over a decade, I have all this insight, I have all this wisdom, I'm beautiful, I'm capable. Look at all of the other things that I've overcome. So that starts to remind them and give them strength.
People
Like,
take
oh,
those for granted.
yeah.
Oh, I did that. And maybe people are hard on themselves and don't realize I do have some accomplishments that I can talk about, but they're always focused on I don't have this, I don't have that. And so if you put them in a place of empowerment, like you're saying, that's a great place to start.
Yes, absolutely. Because success, most of us, as you mentioned, I don't have. So when we're looking at success, most of us look at success as, hey, I'm still climbing, I'm still going, but I'm not there yet, right? But the truth is, success is personal. That's number one. And it can only be measured accurately and individually by looking back.
Okay.
Where did I come from? And where am I sitting now? And that distance and that journey between the two, Karen, is what your success really is. The other part going forward is the path we're still on.
Okay.
We're still on because we're still building, we're still growing. We're going to always be in a perpetual stage of growth and development, whether we like it or not. Whether we're active, like, oh, I'm getting a new degree, I'm starting a new business, I'm doing a new show, whatever it is. And some people just at home and trying to get, a raise on the job, whatever it is, there's always going to be some activity of progression happening in one's life. So if you judge your life like that, success, how successful you are by where you are now and the version of where you're still trying to go, then you always come up shorthanded. But when you look back, you remember where you started from. You remember when you loved this job. You remember when you prayed to God for this job. You remember those things, and you remember the actions and everything it took to get there. That's a more qualifier to assess who you are and what you're capable of than where you're going. The going is the ambition. The going is the continuation.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about you for a minute.
Okay.
Now, where did you come from?
Okay.
And how did you get to this place now of wanting to be a life coach and try to help other people achieve their goals?
Well, where I came from, I grew up in very humble beginnings. Locally, I have 6 other brothers and sisters. It's really 7 of us, but 1 passed, so I'm a middle child. So from as early as I can remember as a child, I always had a level of consciousness, like awareness and observing. And as I was growing up, my mother was, for the majority, she was a single mother working welfare. She was working, but she was still collecting food stamps, things like that. So I'm no stranger to those things. And I was just very observant and very curious as a child. So I was always listening to the adults, watching, thinking, assessing. That's just the way my brain is. I'm really like a secret social scientist. My whole life is a social experiment. It really is.
All right.
So there was a lot of need around me, and there was a lot of pain.
Tell me about the social assessment and talk about that a little bit.
So with that being said, as I said, starting from a child, I was always looking at things, flipping them upside down, like, is this good? Is that not good? And there was a lot of need and pain around me. My mother never did drugs or anything, but we grew up in a community where, you know, a lot of my peers, their parents were addicted to drugs. This is the 80s we talking about.
Yeah.
So we talking about when you step outside, you see the crack bottles, the yellow, the red, the blue tops, little baggies. These things are everywhere in some shape or form. And my mother did the best she could to protect us in her own way from those certain things. But nonetheless, I was very aware and I was curious, and I knew this stuff wasn't good. But I always felt greater, and like this life that I'm living is not really a reflection of who I am. So for the majority of my life, I've always felt like I was living a double life. Yes.
The life that you were living and the life that you wanted to lead?
The life, not only the life that I wanted to lead, but the life I felt that was more befitting for me to lead. I knew I was very intelligent. I didn't have other terms, spiritual terms and stuff like that. But so from that, growing up, I was always saying, looking at stuff and saying, oh, I'm going to do something different in my life. Like, oh no, I'm going to do something different. Even if it was down to, like I told you behind the scenes, I'm always going to have juice in my refrigerator. Something as small as that. You know, as a child, talking about some juice. But
Yeah, I got you.
just wanting more and wanting better. So with that being said, at the same time, I was in an environment that could not cultivate a mind like mine. So I was misunderstood. I was grown. I had an attitude.
Right.
Only because I'm always asking why. And then when you say something, I'm like, so does that mean?
Right.
And they're like, wait a minute. You're 8, you're 9. You cannot be, you know,
Right.
we can recognize that in children now as genius because of technology and exposure. But in my time, it was like, she's grown.
Right. It should be seen and not heard.
Exactly. And I wasn't that kid. So